Shit is happening. This is probably the craziest offseason in NFL history. We got a lot to talk about here today. Coming off of a break, naturally, we knew we were going to come off this break with a lot of shit to talk about because free agency kicked off, and Jesus Christ, it is not disappointing. Joining me, as always, I got Shane in here. Shane, how you doing? How you feeling?
I'm pretty good. Excited.
Lots of shit happening.
Yeah, a lot of stuff happening. Excited, man. I mean, tomorrow's my birthday.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Big 2-7. Big 2-7.
Happy birthday to Tyler. His is coming up too. Happy birthday. Tyler's not here.
Happy birthday, Tyler. He's not here.
Yeah, he's not. I wasn't here last time, which also shout out to the boys. Single show.
Listen, guys.
Single show.
I haven't looked at the stats, but if that show was not watched a lot, it's okay. I debacled that shit so bad.
Yo, okay, so after you left, I was looking at the video, right, with Tyler, and I was sitting there just watching the beginning, and Tyler, he didn't tell me what happened or anything, but he told me that production was bad, and I'm sitting there watching the beginning, and I watch you do this. Both hands back over your mouth, and I immediately said, like, as you pull back, I'm like, oh no, he's gonna forget to turn down the music, isn't he?
Yep, 100%.
Oh, I lost it.
I was sitting there like talking to the mic and because we can hear ourselves in the headset. Right?
Yeah.
So I'm sitting here hearing myself, and I hear Tyler say something. I completely blank out the music.
Right.
So I can't even really pay attention. And then I stopped talking. I'm like, damn, that's loud.
It's like, hold on. Hey, I give you guys an A+ for effort, okay? I enjoyed it. I mean, because it was good conversation. I enjoyed it.
That's what I said when I left, 2 weeks ago. I was like, hey, great conversation.
Yeah.
Horrible production on my part.
Hey, you guys will probably get another opportunity on that here soon. So it's all right.
I was like, in my defense though, when as far as when it comes to production on my stream or anything like that, it's my own setup. I know what to do. I'm here. There's
you did get kind of thrown in.
Yeah, and there's not a giant audio interface.
That's true.
I've never seen before until I started doing the podcast.
Yeah, so, let me pull up the video users. Hopefully I don't unplug anything.
Yeah. See that thing? All the fucking bells and whistles and buttons and knobs. Like, bro, there's no way I was going to learn that in 10 minutes that I had to before the show.
Hey, like I said, A for effort. I give you guys that. Also, shout out, this may be the final podcast in the studio. I think by next episode of A Terrible Football Show, as well as I think we have one more episode of AniMan Plus in here. The Gamesthetic episode we're recording this weekend, we're actually just going to do it all remotely. Since I'm moving the studio on Saturday, and that's usually when we record, so we'll just do that over Discord. So yeah, this should be the last episode in this studio. Getting the studio moved this weekend, so big shout out to that.
Yeah, I'm super excited. No more sofa,
Yeah, should be getting rid of the futon for probably an actual sofa, so it's not as low to the ground.
I'm telling you right now, I despise the couch that I have in my room right now.
Okay,
because I live in. I'm still living with my parents until that whole situation gets figured out. Yeah. And the couch I have, I absolutely despise. So if you want to sell that, I will take it.
There's a high chance that I'm probably going to sell it. Just because, I'm already overloaded with couches going over to the new place, so I'll probably sell it. So, yeah, looking forward to getting the new studio set up, actually getting some electrical work done on it on Monday. So, it's going to be a good time.
Nice.
If you could, go sign up to the website. We'd appreciate that, SparkE3.com. You can sign up for free or sign up for the premium tier, $5 a month. You can also go check out the merch store, SparkE3shop.com. Join the Discord, link down in the description below. Follow us on Twitter, @TerribleFBShow, and check out the other shows, Gamesthetic, AniMan Plus, and Talk About Movies and Stuff, which... we'll be having new episodes come out soon. I still can't remember the show that John and Zach were watching. It's something on Amazon Prime. I don't know what it was, but they're going to do an episode on that sometime soon. And I'm going to be doing Moon Knight in the near future as well.
Yeah, Moon Knight, when it comes out, what?
Literally,
the 30th, right?
Like next week.
Hey, you know what drops tomorrow too?
What?
Halo.
That's right. And I have Paramount Plus. I forgot. Yeah, because I got Paramount Plus for the playoffs in the Super Bowl. And once they confirmed that, Halo's coming out in March, I'm just like, well, fuck, I might as well keep it. I was going to use it for the free trial and cancel.
I've been completely, I watched the Super Bowl through Josh's, Iggy's. We had him on a guest last season. I've been using his cable, his streaming thing for TV, and that's how I'll watch the Super Bowl. I've been putting off my Paramount Plus just so I can watch Halo, see how it is, and if I don't like it, I don't have to resubscribe.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Halo's dropping. Moon Knight. Got the trailer for Miss Marvel. That looks pretty legit.
I hate how people are so mad about her.
About the powers. I know. Like I understand why it happened, right? You know, I know this is not football talk. We'll get to the football talk. Don't worry. We got a lot to talk about. So just entertain us for a second, okay? But like when it comes to Ms. Marvel, like, I mean, like I get it because like even though it is Marvel and stuff and it is Disney, they dish out a lot of money on this stuff. Doing the sort of CGI you need to do for her powers, that's a lot of money. I don't know if that's in a Disney Plus show budget. Plus, I mean, you're about to introduce, you know, Mr. Fantastic soon anyway, and they're going to kind of like maybe blend together too much. Plus, Kamala Khan's going to star in the Marvels alongside, obviously, Captain Marvel and Monica Rambeau. So what they did with her powers makes her seem like more in tune with them two. So I understand the change.
And plus, like, you know, you could always build her up, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You'd always have her learn, like, how to, you know, use her powers eventually and grow into that, especially, like, if you go into a big-time box office movie where you do have you know, that kind of money to do that. But man, at some point I want to come on to watching movies and stuff, because I mean this next 3 months we've got 3 bangers coming out, and we got Morbius coming out. We got Doctor Strange coming out next month. And then is it Morbius and then Doctor Strange, or is it Doctor Strange and it's Morbius first.
Yeah, I think it's Morbius and then Doctor Strange.
And then Doctor Strange, and then there's another movie that comes after Doctor Strange.
Thor.
I think Thor.
I think it's Thor, Love and Thunder. I think is the next one.
And then in between that, you know, we have She-Hulk series coming up.
Yeah.
We've got, which is probably going to have Bruce Banner in it. And also rumored to have Charlie Cox, a.k.a. Daredevil, in it. So, and then, of course, Moon Knight is coming out on the 30th. Like, at some point, I want to get on this show.
Well, here's what I'll tell you. Out of all the boys that's kind of been on the show so far, I think I'm the only one that's, like, dead set, fully determined to watch Moon Knight every week. So if you want to watch Moon Knight every week, we can do the show.
I've watched every Disney Plus series that they've come out, from, you know, What If to Loki to, you know, the...
WandaVision,
Falcon. Like, I've watched all of them as they came out. I've watched them.
Yeah, me too.
So yeah, I'm planning on watching Moon Knight, especially since honestly I don't know much about him as far as like going into Marvel. I know a little bit about him just from comics here and there. But I don't know a lot about him, so I'm looking forward to learning.
Last little tidbit on this before we jump over to actual football talk. This is pretty dope, especially since you told me that off record that you're about to get Game Pass here soon. I did see earlier that Game Pass Ultimate subscribers can get like a 3-month free trial of Marvel Unlimited, which normally Marvel Unlimited is only like a 7-day trial. So a 3-month trial to go through Marvel Unlimited, which has like 22,000 Marvel comics, could be a good play for you.
It definitely is.
Like, I'm like, once I saw that earlier, I'm just like, ooh, hello, I'm a Game Pass Ultimate subscriber. Let's go.
Hello.
Yeah, so that's pretty pumped. All right, let's get on to football talk, because my God. Okay, so first question. Is this the craziest offseason you've ever seen?
Man, as far as I can know, yes.
It's insane.
Just as far as just the scale of moves and the big time players moving around.
Yep.
Which we kind of figured, right, it was going to happen. We didn't. I thought Von Miller was going to go somewhere else. I didn't think he was going to stay with the Rams. Deshawn Watson, I figured that once his whole case kind of figured out, I knew he was going to go somewhere else.
Yep.
I didn't think Baker was going to go somewhere else, but
here we are.
Yep. We had a feeling that Russell Wilson or Pete Carroll or both of them was going to move on from Seattle at some point.
Yep.
We knew that if it was going to happen this year, that was going to happen before the draft.
Yep.
So during free agency during this time, again, we were right. So a lot of the stuff we kind of predicted, we didn't fully expect it to happen in that way, but literally everything we've talked about in the last, 4 episodes,
it's come true.
It's come true. It's kind of developed into this.
So what he's telling you is that if you're not already subscribed, you need to subscribe and listen to our show, because we know what we're talking about sometimes, even though it's a terrible football show.
It's like a 50-50 shot, but somehow we just got a full house on this hand.
Well, see, I've told the boys this off record, and I think I mentioned it on recording as well. Like, our branding is the perfect branding, because while we've gotten a lot of shit right, if we get shit wrong, we can just blame it on the branding. We're a terrible football show. I mean, what do you expect from us?
we do the minimum effort to give you the news and make sure it's correct and our opinions on it.
Bingo.
But other than that, It's minimum effort.
Yep.
You know, it's the opposite of Deadpool, right?
Yep. Exactly.
Minimum effort.
So, just, a couple weeks ago, of course, you guys already chat about Russell Wilson. Crazy shit happened there. Obviously Tom Brady pulled a 180. He's back in the league.
Which honestly, I didn't see that coming.
I didn't either. I actually did think he was done.
Yeah, I fully thought he was done.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, those two things, massive things that's happened. All the Aaron Rodgers stuff was happening with how he was going to stay with the Packers. Lots of shit happened then. And now, fast forward to now, Deshaun Watson, lots of talk over the past few days, had it narrowed down to like 4 teams where it's like the Browns, the Falcons, the Saints, the Panthers. He said basically no to the Panthers. He actually said no to the Browns, and it was down to the Falcons and the Saints. And it looked like the Falcons was going to pull it out because he actually personally requested a second talk with the Falcons. So, I mean, it was looking pretty likely, and at that time, Matt Ryan was saying his preferred destination would be the Colts. Hey, shocker, guess what? He got traded to the Colts. But then, out of nowhere, it's like, by God, is that the Browns with a steel chair? Coming out of nowhere, getting the dub with, it's the contract, man. Deshaun Watson traded to the Cleveland Browns, $230 million contract, but every single dollar is fully guaranteed. That's insane.
So yeah, me and Josh had this conversation last night. Actually, I thought it was $183 million guaranteed, and then the rest were based on incentives. But I did double check it this morning or this afternoon before I came on the show. Yeah. $230 million guaranteed.
Yeah,
and contract.
And the thing is about this, like what was all happening last week with all the Deshaun Watson fallout of this is, of course, Matt Ryan was kind of pitching his preferred destination. Baker, once all this was coming out, Baker was just put out his emotional, air quotes, emotional statement about the Browns, thanking him that he's formally requesting a trade. The Browns literally telling him, no. Shut the fuck up. We're not trading you. Then, of course, they get their guy. And now here we are, Baker. What's his landing spot? Because, automatically he immediately also said his preferred destination is the Colts, which, let's be real, I feel like a lot of quarterbacks was going to say that because Colts have a pretty stacked roster. They were literally just missing a quarterback. So, he said that. Ryan was saying that. Matt Ryan gets traded to the Colts anyway. That's great for Matt Ryan. And now where's Baker left? Because, Carolina's already kind of saying that Carolina is not interested. So all that's left is what? Seattle?
Yeah, the way I see it, if I'm the Colts, right, if I'm choosing between Baker, who's played inconsistent, which don't get me wrong, I'm a big Baker fan. I think he's can be a starter and a Pro Bowl caliber quarterback in the league.
You feel like he's got the it factor.
He definitely does. But when it comes down to it, if I'm going to, I don't even know how old Matt Ryan is. Right? He's like, what, 32, 33, if not older?
Probably mid-30s.
Yeah. So
2008 was his draft year.
Okay. So, he's probably like 34, 35, 36, somewhere in there. I much rather take that quarterback over Baker Mayfield any day. Yeah. Just because I know what Matt Ryan can do.
While Baker's a question mark.
With that team, yeah, while he's still kind of a question mark. But Baker, he's still only been in the league, what, 4 years, 5 years?
Yeah, 4 years.
So, he's still got a lot of time to grow when, Matt Ryan's been in the league for 14.
Yeah.
So, as far as the Colts, it made the right move.
Oh, yeah.
I honestly didn't see it coming. I thought he was going to stay with Atlanta. And then Colts were going to get somebody else because I didn't think the Colts were wanting to do what the Rams did last year and bring in a veteran quarterback.
Yeah.
Pay him the kind of money they did and kind of build around him. But they are. I think we're going to go all in because rumors that I've seen is Julio's got 2 destinations on his mind. Colts and Bucks.
I could see both those, yeah.
So, and then Odell is...
God, I would love it if he went to the Colts. That'd be awesome. That reunion of Ryan and Julio, let's go.
Yeah, I know.
That would be awesome.
And then there's rumors that Baker is interested in... Or not Baker. Odell is interested in going back to Cleveland.
Yeah, playing with Deshaun,
especially now since he'll be the number 1 guy, and more Jarvis Landry, which we're still waiting. I don't think...
He hasn't been signed.
He hasn't been signed yet. That's
I love Jarvis. I hope he gets signed.
I do too. Look forward to, there's rumors saying that Denver is looking at Jarvis. But yeah, as far as Baker goes, though, I think he may have to go to a place and compete. Place like Seattle, maybe a place like, Carolina, but they already said that, hey, we don't want you.
Yeah.
Because, we'll talk about this more later, but the quarterbacks in the draft they're happy about. I'll just leave it at that because I don't want to ruin the conversation. But
right.
He may just have to go to a place and either accept a backup role for now, or try and go somewhere and compete.
I think he's honestly. I was telling you this before we started. I honestly just have a gut feeling the dude's about to be jobless. I really think I think the Browns are legitimately just going to have to release him and just take the hit on it because they're not going to find a trade partner. Like, I really actually think that's about to happen.
Which, honestly, don't be surprised if that happens, and then they're able to sign him at a much cheaper rate.
Yeah.
And get him to compete. Give him that chip on the shoulder, kind of play with and see how he plays. Because, we all know when Baker has a chip on his shoulder, that's when he plays the best.
Yeah.
When he was being, called trash in Oklahoma, that's, when he played his best and was stabbing flags and in the field. So, hey, it might be best for him.
Yeah, it will. With Matt Ryan going to Indy, do you view Indy as like because AFC is so stupidly stacked. Do you view Indy as a top-tier contender?
Yeah, I think right now in the AFC, honestly, when the whole Tyreek thing that we just heard about right before this.
Yep.
It's really the Chiefs. My top three would be Denver, Colts, Chiefs right now in the AFC.
Right. Man, it's tough.
I think the Chargers are up there as well with the defense they've built.
Bills as well.
The Bills as well. But honestly, for the last 4 years, really.
Still the Bengals.
Bengals, totally forgot about them.
Yeah.
But, it's really been the Chiefs the last 4 years.
Yeah, it has.
Okay, preseason favorite, Chiefs. It's Chiefs and Bills and then everybody else.
Yeah, and with the Chiefs, they traded Tyreek Hill today, and that news popped quick. It popped quick that they gave him permission to seek a trade, and then it was like I was literally talking to another guy, another vendor I was working with from another company, and I told him that, and it's like I swear after I told him that, 20 minutes later, it's like traded to Miami. I'm like, God dang, that was quick.
Which do we know the reason why he wanted out of there?
Just they weren't able to get contract extension done. That's why immediately you guys saw the news where he got extended for like $120 million contract.
Yeah, he's the highest paid receiver ever.
Yeah,
which is surprising because they signed Juju, which that's going to be atrocious to see.
Juju and the Jackson thing, man. I'm not excited to get to see this shit. It's gonna be terribly annoying.
It's gonna be so cringe.
I love watching Patrick. I love watching Travis. I love watching the Chiefs. They're a fun team. I'm not gonna call myself a fan, but they're a fun team. But bro, the collabs that we're about to see between Jackson Mahomes and Juju Smith-Schuster may make me hate the Chiefs.
Yeah, man, I may just have to shut down social media during
Jesus
Sundays. But as far as the whole Tyreek thing, what do you think? I'm probably jumping way ahead, but what do you think about the Miami's acquisitions this offseason?
Okay.
They've made massive moves.
Listen, all right, there was a lot of people that were completely just dogging Coach McDaniel because of just okay, they listened to most notably the Pat McAfee show with his interview because he had an hour-long interview in the Pat McAfee show. And there were so many comments on Twitter and on YouTube and whatever trashing this guy where it's just no one in the locker room is going to take this guy seriously just because he seemed so much like a stoner bro, But it's just no, this dude's a fucking genius, okay? Legit, you need to look at Mike McDaniel's resume. This dude is a fucking genius of a football coach, and they are making moves. This guy is building the offense that works around him, getting his guy from 49ers, Raheem Mostert, thank you. Yep. They signed Chase Edmonds as well. They've now got Tyreek Hill. They tagged their tight end. They signed Taron Armstead now as of 2 days ago, which is one of the top tackles on the market. They are building around Tua, and they are building the offense that, he has really been known for in San Fran, where the 49ers had 150 something yards before contact against the Packers in the NFC Championship where Jimmy Garoppolo threw the ball 7 times and they went to the Super Bowl. Dolphins are making legitimate moves, and I feel like the moves they're making, I feel it's going to shut a lot of people up when it comes to Mike McDaniel's haters.
Yeah, I completely agree.
They hate him because he has a personality.
I think as of right now, and I think they'll go, since they're making all these offensive acquisitions through free agency, look for them to go heavy on defense in the draft.
Yeah.
And they, if they'll be contenders in their division this year, they probably won't win it or come top 2 or whatever, but, in the next 2-3 years, they will be there.
Yeah.
They will be in contention. They will be, fighting for that division.
It's just tough.
And really, it's what I kind of expected the Jaguars to do, right?
They made a lot of moves.
That's what I expected them to do for Trevor Lawrence, but Miami's got it.
Yeah, Miami's got it. Jacksonville, they made a lot of moves. Christian Kirk, the Sheriff, Brandon Sheriff, they signed him, Pro Bowl, All-Pro guard. Loved that move. Jags made some pretty good moves. Dolphins made a lot of acquisitions. I mean, man, AFC's like loading up. It is because right now on the spot, I don't think I could actually give you my top three in the AFC like you did. I really don't because Devontae Adams, of course, got traded to the Raiders. We haven't even touched on that yet. I mean, that's one of those things. Also, a little tidbit is, apparently Rodgers knew about that possibility when he personally signed. Because at the end of the day, it's like, and I feel like you've seen this a lot in this free agency. And I've got some other statistics here for you. There's a lot of, what I call, on second thought, I'm good moments already happening. Like, there's three different ones that happened, right? Randy Gregory, set to re-sign with Dallas, backed out, signs with Denver. Zadarius Smith, set to sign with Baltimore, backed out, now he's a Viking. J.D. McKissick, he was set to sign with Buffalo. And then this is an interesting one. He was set to sign with Buffalo, and he then backs out and re-signs with Washington for the same amount of money. It wasn't even a pay upgrade from what Buffalo's going to pay. So think about that. He was going to sign to Buffalo, a team that could use a running back and a potential Super Bowl contender, but he re-signs with a team that's clearly not a Super Bowl contender yet. So I think I've seen a lot of people bitching about like the A-Rob thing as well, signing with LA, where it's like, because there were reports that Chicago offered more during last season, which we did, and everyone's just like, oh, well, we offered him more money. It's like, I think people are starting to learn that right now in today's day and age, especially, that the players aren't just going for money anymore. You know what I mean? Like, you can't buy these players like on Madden. Like, there's a lot of factors that go into it, and that's how it went for Devontae, because Devontae is a lifelong Raiders fan. So, I mean, it just ultimately really worked out for him. But, picking like a top...
And plus he played college ball
with Carr, and they were college roommates. So, I mean, like, that was going to be a landing spot. And now the AFC West is like the strongest division in football, not even close. Bears traded Khalil Mack to the Chargers, which, as the residential Bears fan, I want the record to be known, I am very okay with the move. I saw a lot of people talking about the value for it, a second and a sixth. I think we could have maybe got like a fourth or fifth, and that would have been dope, of course. But like, looking at it from like my point of view, I think the value is understandable, even though I acknowledge he's probably about to go to LA and tear it up with Joey Bosa. And the reason why I think it's an understandable value is because you got to look at it like this. In 4 years in Chicago, I think he was a 3-time Pro Bowler, but Pro Bowlers are fucking jokes. Looking at you, Lamar Jackson, who threw 17 TDs to 15 interceptions, got to the Pro Bowl. I mean, it's a popularity contest, right? First year in Chicago, legitimate threat. He got like 14 sacks, I think, all pro, legit, right? No big deal. Next year, 9 sacks. Year after that, 7 sacks. Then this past year, injured most of the year. I get the value. Completely get it. I'm cool with the move because it took a lot of money off our cap. Because right now in 2023, we're projected for like $121 million for 2023. So this move is a later move, and I get it, and I'm cool with it. But at AFC West, loaded.
Yeah. Definitely honestly, I think Tom Brady and his agent kind of heard murmurs about all the things that were kind of going on. And he kind of realized, like, hey, you
have an easy path.
You have an easy path. Like, it's pretty much them and
what I'd say, like 3 teams.
Yeah,
Bucks, Packers, Rams.
Yeah,
easy.
And even then, like, the Packers are hurting right now. Yep. I mean, with Devontae Adams being gone,
who's he going to throw to?
The Rams are going to be hurting a little bit. They've lost Robert Woods. Most likely going to be losing Odell. Lost Von Miller. So I mean, even then, like. And the Bucks are continuing to re-sign their guys, and then continuing to adding. Like, we've already heard, Julio Jones, that's a possible landing spot to go play with Tom Brady.
Chris Godwin re-signed, Leonard Fournette re-signed.
Which, I mean, we talked about this weeks ago. We didn't think Godwin was going to come back, right?
Like, we all thought, I thought he was gone from Tampa.
But they found a way. And
still got Mike.
To me,
trusty Mike.
It's the Bucks and everybody else right now in the NFC. As far as the AFC, there's literally 10 teams who can be like, okay, yeah, they can win it.
Yeah, like, all right, let's go through the list. All 4 of the AFC, in my opinion, even the Raiders, okay, because I think Devontae Adams will take them to the next level.
100%.
I think the Browns are in there now. The Bengals are in there now. The Colts are in there now. The Bills. Who else am I missing? Is it just going to be those 8, I think?
What, Chargers?
Yeah, well, all 4 of the AFC West.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it. Just like there are 8 legitimate threats for the Super Bowl. And then there are some other contenders. Well, let's acknowledge that the Ravens are a potential contender, but I would say there's 8 legitimate threats in the AFC.
Yeah,
and then some potential okay ones like the Patriots. Depending on how they work without Josh McDaniels, that's going to be a big question mark. Who knows? Maybe the fucking Dolphins come out of nowhere this year. Depends on how Tua plays.
Yeah,
like Ravens still like. Who knows? Maybe Mitchell Trubisky, who just signed with Pittsburgh, is about to take them to the next level. I don't think so, but who knows?
Yeah. Like I said, I mean, there's literally, even like I said, 8-10 teams, but there's literally, you said 8 guaranteed, which I agree with, but then there's probably 4 or 5 more that you're like, they're on the brink.
Yeah, like,
right?
like
it's kind
Titans,
of kind of a question mark. Like, okay, maybe that's another piece here and there, and they're right there in that conversation.
It's easier to say the bad teams in the AFC than it is the good one, because you have the Texans, the Jets, the Jaguars. I think that's it.
Yeah, which, I mean, if we were tiering these teams as far as the NFC, I think the Bucks would be the only S tier team.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have an A tier team, and the next B tier teams would be your Packers and Rams, and then there's everybody else below them.
Yep.
Just because of the question marks that it comes with the Packers and Rams. And as far as AFC, those eight teams, you can very well flip and flop from S and A.
Yeah, I'll argue for it.
Yeah.
And a couple little tidbits for the Rams. I did see they re-signed Matt Stafford. They gave him a contract extension, so good for him. Shout out to that.
It's like 4 years, $180 million.
Yeah, lots of money. Hey, well deserved. Suffering in Detroit for so long. Like I said, they did sign A-Rob. That's going to be a good signing to pair along Cooper. Robert was traded to the Titans, so we'll see how that fares to the Titans. And then not confirmed yet. I mean, while we're recording, it could be. I'll hop on Twitter and see if it happened. But sources are saying that Bobby Wagner is about to sign with the Rams, and that's going to be a big defensive boost for him. That is going to be massive.
I think what I heard, his top 3 teams right now are Rams, Broncos, and Cowboys.
Yeah.
So, waiting for that news to break anytime, waiting for Odell's news break to break anytime, and as well as Julio. I think Julio is probably the one I'm most excited for, because I really would love him to go to the Colts and reunite with Matt Ryan and do something that they couldn't do in Atlanta.
And, I do think that is a legitimate thing that's about to happen. Like I think Matt Ryan going to the Colts, man, it really does make them a legitimate threat, because they already have a very good team. They really do. I mean, you have some of the best offensive linemen in the league with a couple, especially Quentin Nelson. You have one of the best running backs in the league, in my opinion, the second best behind Derrick Henry. Receivers, I mean, you got T.Y. who's getting up there in age, and it's showing. Michael Pittman's okay. Add a guy like Julio, be pretty solid there. Got a great defense. Awesome defense. Kenny Moore, Darius Leonard, DeForest Buckner up in the front. Like, bro, the Colts are ready to go. They are ready to go. They traded Carson to Washington. I'm curious if that's going to be the actual guy, though. Like, do you think the Washington Commanders are going to draft a quarterback, or because how do you think that's going to play out?
I think they will, but I think it'll be later than what.
Won't be first.
It won't be first. And I think, honestly, a lot of these teams making these moves that we thought were going to pick quarterbacks, they've pretty much all traded to get quarterbacks in free agency or signed them, right?
Right.
So I think they're kind of, other than the top 2, can you pick a Malik Willis, in my opinion, which I think, honestly, seeing the combine, watching highlights and getting stats from the combine and stuff, I do have Malik Willis, my number 1 quarterback.
Malik had a great pro day.
Yeah. Great pro day. Great combine. Like, he looked great. There is some slight things that, I was watching, I tagged you on Twitter. It's like the quarterback breakdown on Twitter.
Yeah, I watched that.
I watch a lot of his stuff. And, he was talking about how he's kind of worried about this thing where when he cocks back before he throws, he slaps the ball. And that's kind of was ingrained in him at a younger age, and it's really hard to break, right? A habit like that.
It's like a little love tap, before you unleash it.
And then apparently before he throws, he'll click when he's taking his last drop. So he'll click and then slap the ball and then come back and throw. So that's kind of worrisome for some teams, because if a corner catches that, right, it's boom. And then they'll break on whatever ball he's throwing.
Yeah.
But as far as everything else, I have him as my number 1 quarterback. I think he'll probably be number 1 taken off.
I think he will be as well.
And then I think it's Kenny Pickett, and then I think it's everybody else. I mean, you could very well see something where Bailey Zapp is the next, or Zappy is the next quarterback taken off third in the third round, you know, and then Matt Corral's taken later on. Like it can be some, as far as quarterback wise goes.
You don't know it could go.
It could very well be crazy.
See, that's what's so fascinating about this draft, because this draft, like, out of the quarterbacks that's here, it's one of the weaker classes we've had in years, right? It is. Let's be real. But like what you're saying, like, people are going to be listening to this and they're like, oh no, he doesn't know what he's talking about. That Matt could go later or whatever, blah blah. No, that's a legitimate possibility. It really is. Like, you could see like Malik and Kenny go in the first round, and you may not see another quarterback go to the third, or you could see Matt go in the top 10 to Seattle. You could see Sam go in the first round. Yeah. You really don't know how it's going to go.
You could see
this is going to be wild.
You could see all 6 quarterbacks go in the first round.
Yeah.
Or you could see one go in the first round and the rest of them go, in the second, or
the third,
or the third, or maybe in the fourth. Like, you never know with these quarterbacks, because, like I said,
there's so many questions.
This year and next year is probably the weakest classes that we've ever had.
Yeah. Like, really, none of these quarterbacks are like NFL ready, basically.
They're all like, what do you call it? Projects.
Yeah, they're all projects.
There's not a quarterback that you're confident, like an Andrew Luck, that you're like, okay, I can throw him day one and he's going to win me games.
Yeah. Because it's like when you're sitting there as a GM and you're a couple pieces away to really getting your team better. What would you rather do if you are a quarterback needy team, right? Like, I would, like, a good example, in my opinion, is probably going to be New Orleans. They re-signed Jameis. Cool. I don't think Jameis is the answer, so that's why I'm using them as an example. You're setting in the mid-teens range. I think like maybe 18th pick or so. I could be wrong. If you're sitting there and you have, like, maybe let's say Kenny drops to there, or you have like Matt Corral, obviously Sam Howell, Desmond Ridder, whatever. You're sitting there. It's like, do you go ahead and take your project in the first round, or do you improve your team and maybe get like one of these DBs, because this is a pretty good DB draft, or do you get like a linebacker, or do you get let's say a tackle, very good tackle draft, very good. Do you pick up a Taylor or Tyler? I don't remember which one. Penning from Northern Iowa, or do you pick up Charles Cross if he slips out of the top 10? You know what I mean? Like, why use that on a project when you can get someone that you can throw in day one?
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to watch. That's why I'm really wanting to, get our next studio set up and get ready to watch this draft in April.
I want to watch it live. I really do want to do a live stream
because I want to do reactions on, how teams are thinking, right? Because you'll be able to tell very quickly on how teams are thinking, if they think they are ready to win now, or if they're like, okay, we're not in a position to win there right now, so let's continue to build our team around, and maybe in like 2 or 3 years, grab a quarterback that we know that can help us. Because, I mean, like we've said before, salary cap's going up every year, right? So, if you're in the later rounds and you're like a Saints, right, with Jameis, you're like, okay, well, he's not the answer right now, but he is good enough to win us games here and there,
right?
To keep us in somewhat conversation, to where we could draft a quarterback. They could draft a quarterback at 18 and not play him for a year or two, right? And then just continue to just build the team around. And then when the team's already there and formed, then you got your quarterback ready to step up. You can send Jameis off somewhere. So there's a lot of things into it, and I'm excited. So,
hey, one potential guy, and Shane already mentioned, to keep an eye out for those later rounds. I'm telling you, Bailey fucking Zapp. You get Bailey Zapp in there to learn behind someone. Watch like Tampa Bay get Bailey Zapp. I know they got Kyle Trask last year, but watch like Tampa Bay get Bailey Zapp to learn behind the Tom Brady. Bailey Zapp. I'm telling you, remember that name.
But you do know it's actually pronounced Zappy, right?
Zappy?
It's actually pronounced Zappy.
I always thought it was Zapp. I'm a terrible fan.
Tough, dude.
Well, I kind of like that. It's good. It almost, because when you said Zappy, I thought you were just saying like a nickname for him.
No, it's actually pronounced Zappy.
Well, it is a terrible show.
I was watching Combine, like quarterback breakdown, and he was doing Combine stuff, and the announcers kept saying Zappy, and then I went to his thing or whatever, and it actually says Zappy. You know how it says the pronunciation?
Yeah, it's got the E at it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a terrible fan. I didn't know that. But, hey, there's a lot of names I don't know how to pronounce. That's just normal.
For instance, it probably took people 3 years to do Tunga Vallejo.
Yeah, that's true. I still can't pronounce it.
Yeah, even then it's a tongue twister. So,
yeah.
Okay.
Well, Bailey, I'm just going to still call him the Zap Man. But Bailey Zappi, the Zap Man, is about to be the next GOAT of the NFL. And now a couple things to also note that's kind of surprising, honestly, with how this offseason's gone that we've really heard no news out of from some. There's a lot of big names that are moving, obviously. Didn't move, but Tom Brady comes out of retirement. Russell got moved. Matt Ryan got moved. Deshaun Watson got moved. But a couple names that we haven't heard anything about that I feel like we probably should have. Number one, Jordan Love. Is Jordan Love, guys, I guess that, he's coming up on that, the end of his rookie deal, and they've only seen one game out of him. Aaron signed on for 4 more years. Are they going to deal Love? I know you guys chat about that. And then another one that I'm telling you, someone needs to trade for this man and get your franchise quarterback, the GOAT. Gardner Minshew needs to get traded out of Philly. Let this man go. Let Minshew mania run wild somewhere. I saw that Carolina was interested, but like what you kind of teased earlier, Carolina is showing a lot of interest in Malik Willis, as well as Pittsburgh.
There was talks that Mike Tomlin had dinner with Malik and his family last night.
Yeah, I saw that.
And then Carolina had a dinner or a meeting with him 2 days ago, and it was apparently an extended meeting. So, like I said, I think at this point it's guaranteed Malik's own first round. It's just a matter of which team's going to get there first.
If Pittsburgh wants it, man, Pittsburgh's going to have to make moves. Like, they're going to have to. And I sent something to the boys the other day in the group chat that I thought was really interesting. Popped up for betting odds for second overall pick. Malik was leading for second overall pick at plus 220. And I sent to you guys, and I'm just like, look, there is something happening with this second pick right now. Vegas fucking knows. They always do. Vegas knows something. 'Cause it's like Malik 220. I think Aiden was like, 260 or something? Like, Vegas knows something's happening right now.
Yeah, man, and I'm telling you, if the Lions don't trade out of that pick and they pick Malik at 2, don't get me wrong, I like Malik as a quarterback. There's so many more things the Lions need before they get that quarterback.
I feel like they can carry the bridge with Jared Goff right now and still build other pieces.
Yeah, because don't get me wrong, I think Jared Goff and Carson Wentz, both of them, they will kind of always be tied together.
Yeah.
And I think those two are great quarterbacks, but got to have coaching. I think Jared Goff could be a franchise type quarterback. Give him a chance. Don't fuck up your team by drafting a quarterback number 2 overall when you can get a franchise staple type player like Aiden Hutchinson at 2.
Yeah, which also with that, I don't know, man. As a residential Jaguars fan, I do think the Jaguars still need to go tackle, 1 overall. I understand they tagged Cam Robinson. They're set to re-sign him. They signed Brandon Sheriff, which I love that move, by the way. I love that move. I still think they need to get Evan Neal or Ikam, as they pronounce his name. Mm-hmm. I still think one of those two should go number 1.
I agree.
But man, I don't know why. I just have a gut damn feeling they're going to get Hutchinson. I something about it is sticking out to me. Where for my next mock draft, Alex Light's mock draft 2.0, available at SparkE3.com. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have Aiden go number 1. I don't know why, man. It's just me making that mock draft is me trying to get as accurate as possible, not what I think should happen. Because I think for the best of the team, they need to go O-line number 1. But I just feel like they're going to go Aiden.
Yeah, see, that's kind of what I did with my 1.0. It was like what I think your team needs. If I was your GM, this is how I would draft.
Right.
Because I was drafting by positions that they needed the most.
Yeah.
You saw. Of course, I fucked up with Jordan Davis. Of course,
I immediately commented on the website about that.
Of course, I fucked up on Jordan Davis. Of course, I would have him probably at 10 or 11 or whatever.
Yeah. And I want you to know I caught that whenever you sent it to me, and I'm sitting there typing because I have to retype it, whatever, for the website. And I'm sitting there. I'm looking through it. I'm like, this dude didn't put Jordan Davis on here. I was like, well, I'm gonna leave that. Yeah. I'm not gonna tell him.
It is what it is.
Here's a spot for you. And I'm curious your thoughts on this. As I was doing the mock draft here recently, which me and you joked that we keep having to fucking restart it. Hopefully by next episode, all 3 of us will have mock draft 2.0s out. We'll see. But even though I've restarted multiple times, I still feel like one of the best and most probable destinations for Jordan Davis, I think, is actually going to be the Chargers. What do you think about that move? They did that because I feel like, you already got Mack and Bosa, you got Derwin James in the back. I feel like adding Jordan Davis, who has clearly proven in his play and this offseason he's a freak of nature. I feel like Jordan Davis to the Chargers would be insane.
I agree. Adding a player like that, I was talking about it to my buddy. He's what, 6'6", 340?
Yeah.
He ran a 5'7" or a 4'7" in the 40 at 340 pounds.
These athletes are next level.
Dude's a freight train. And I just put it in perspective, like, my buddy Clifton, he's a like 5'9", 5'10" guy, a $180, and he runs a 4.5. I'm like, yeah. This guy at 340 pounds is running at 0.2 of a second slower than you.
Yeah.
Like,
it's insane. I'm telling you, man, pair Jordan Davis up with Mack and Bosa on that line. That will be the deadliest line in the NFL, like, by far.
Yo, 100%.
Like, dude, I'm so pumped for the draft, and I'm so pumped to continue to like build the mock draft and stuff because there's so many players that like their stock is continuing to rise as they should. Because one thing that I'm really pumped about that I've seen a lot of love recently is that like once mock draft season really started to get going, like we saw like in terms of wide receivers, like Wilson and Olave, whatever, as like constantly the top, whatever, blah blah. I'm seeing a lot of people recognizing the greatness of Drake London and putting him a lot higher in top 10. There was one mock draft, and it was from a legit website, too. I forgot which one. Had him going number 2 overall to the Lions. So I'm like, I don't know if I'd go that far, but I do appreciate the Drake London love because this dude was balling before he got hurt. Treylon Burks going to go real high as well. I'm still seeing Treylon potentially to the Falcons at like, what, 8? That's still a possibility.
Yeah, I was watching, I've been trying to dabble in some combine stuff and just watching like individual highlight stats from individual players from the combine. Of course, Treylon was one of the first ones I pulled up, and like all the announcers, like as he was going through his routes, were like all super impressed because dude's 6'5", 245.
I love that size for a receiver.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And he's still running a 4.5, sub 4.5, and 38-inch vertical, and has all this great hands. Like I don't think he dropped a pass during the combine, which is. They did deep routes. They were doing post corners. They were doing out routes, and of course they have the line drill when you catch left, catch right, so on and so forth. So they were all super impressed with him. At the pro day, 30 of 32 teams were there at U of A watching him. So
I think number 8 overall is a good spot because honestly, I would be legitimately shocked if the Falcons did not get a wide receiver at 8.
And plus,
they little tidbit we did not mention. They with trading Ryan, they signed Marcus Mariota, which cool. Shout out to Marcus. I love Marcus is great. Love watching him. He is being reunited with Arthur Smith, the head coach, who was his OC in Tennessee. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you. What you got?
It's on Falcons too. I was going to mention because it'd be a nice spot because, like I said, the only 2 quarterbacks on the roster right now, Marcus Mariota, Felipe Franks.
Well, and the GOAT, apparently, Josh Rosen. He's still on the roster. There were 9 mistakes made ahead of me, and I'm going to spend the next 15 years proving it. Well, all right, bud. What's so funny is you look at the people drafted in front of him, and it's like not even comparable.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Which honestly, like, I like that mindset. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
I love a player with a mindset, but you got to keep that to yourself. Keep it to yourself. I'm
gonna look up that draft
because instant like this doesn't, because now we have video evidence to go back and be like, yeah, you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah, you're an absolute fraud. But no, I think for that Falcons pick, man, I think like Wilson's a possibility if he doesn't get taken earlier by like maybe the Jets because the Jets have 2 top 10 picks. I think the Jets, honestly, I feel like the Jets with 2 top 10 picks, I feel like one's gonna probably be a wide receiver. I feel like that's a strong possibility. I also feel like they're going to, the other one's going to be like best available, but it also depends because, that first pick, they could go like a Kyle Hamilton at safety for that number 4 pick, I think, or they could, go like a Garrett Wilson, for example. Because I have a feeling Garrett Wilson's going to be the first receiver off the board. After that, I think personally, I think it's going to be Treylon or it's going to be Drake London, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think As of right now, I think if I was going, I would go Drake London and Treylon at 2. And then honestly, I like Olave better than I like Wilson.
See, when I say
honestly, I have them at 3, 4, and you can flip-flop them. So.
When I say I think Wilson will be the first off, it's not because I think he's the number one. I think Drake London is the best receiver in this draft, and followed by Treylon. That's just what I'm kind of getting a vibe about, that I think Wilson could be number one. All right, so let's look at these 9 mistakes made ahead of Josh Rosen real quick. All right, so number 9 was Mike McGlinchey, offensive tackle for the 49ers. He's not a pro. He hasn't been a Pro Bowler, but he has been a steady starter for them. Raquan Smith for the Bears, who has been robbed of a Pro Bowl 2 years in a row. This dude's a freaking monster. Josh freaking Allen, Quentin Nelson, Bradley Chubb, Denzel Ward, all Pro Bowlers. And then Sam Darnold, we know how that's going. Baker at 1, and then Saquon Barkley at 2. So, yeah, 9 mistakes made ahead of Josh Rosen, all right?
Which really, honestly, I think everybody in front of Josh Rosen, I think Josh Rosen's the only mistake in there.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. I mean, like, I'm not going to sit here and say Baker or Darnold are mistakes. Like, they're, I'm not going to sit here and say Baker was a mistake.
The potential is still there.
Yeah.
Like, we've seen things from them to where we're like, okay, they can be. It's just a matter of can they get there.
Yeah, like, in terms of Darnold, I mean, he was fucked with the Jets. What do you expect? And then when it comes to the Panthers, I don't know what happened because he was playing like a fucking all-star for the first, 4 or 5 weeks of the season. I mean, that was our episode 3 title, I think, is Sam Darnold is the guy. I'm pretty sure that was our episode title. I don't know what happened with him, but I'm going to still say he can get resurrected. But you will be curious to see what Carolina will do at quarterback spot, because they're in that top 10 as well. Are they just going to snag Malik Willis at whatever spot they're at, like maybe 6? I think it's 6. Or are they going to maybe trade up with the Lions? Because that's going to be the big thing, is what is the Lions going to do? Are they just going to stick with 2 and draft, I've seen some chatter, they may actually draft another tackle. They drafted Penei Sewell last year. They could get another tackle for the other side, if you really solidify your tackle spots, which is obviously very important. Or they could just go the other defensive player that's not going to be that will be there, because that's if Aiden goes number 1. Yeah. Or they'll trade out. I don't know.
I mean, I think if you're able to trade out and get multiple first-round picks or multiple picks in this draft, I wouldn't be mad about it,
Yeah.
If you can trade the number 2 pick and get, if you just say they trade, Carolina's at 10?
No, I think they're at 6.
6,
I think.
So if you can trade the 2 pick for a 6 pick and then also get another first-round pick for next year or a second-round pick for this year,
that's a deal.
That's a hell of a deal.
I'll fucking take that. Let's
100%.
go. Yeah, I mean, especially if you're gonna be the Lions, you're gonna go defense anyway. This draft is loaded with defense, bro. I mean,
you're gonna be able to get quality defensive players.
Yeah.
In the late, depending on how quarterbacks and stuff go.
Yeah.
I mean, you could very well see good defensive players going in the early 4th round.
Yeah, for real. Because when it comes to that, with that particular situation that you just pitched, one massive need the Lions have is going to be DB. Like, their DBs are terrible, especially since the one they drafted number 3 overall, Okuda, in Matt Patricia's last year, has not been anything. He's not been relevant. They trade back to 6. They could still get Sauce Gardner. Or they could get, Stingley, which I would get Gardner from Cincy. I mean, I think you would as well. Yeah. This dude's a monster. I like how he did comment on, in his 4 years of since he hasn't allowed up, a TD, he's like, well, I'm planning to continue that in the pros. I don't know what you guys are talking about. This is a new island that's about to come in here. Yeah. I'm just like, man, my man, that's respect.
Sauce Island, bro.
Yeah.
That is dope.
No, still talking about draft. Did you see the thing with I'm gonna butcher his last name, David
Ojobu tore his ACL or whatever,
tore his Achilles. Yeah, did you see that?
Yeah, I did. I watched. It was at his pro day, right?
Yep, at his pro day.
I was watching that. I was watching film, and it was kind of blowing up on Twitter because the one coach just picked up the ball and walked away. Didn't even check on the dude or anything. Yeah, I'm like, are you kidding me, bro?
Yeah. See, and I saw a lot of veteran players quote tweeting that, where they were just like, hey, young guys, you guys need to pay attention to this and realize that at the end of the day, this is a business. And there's a follow-up picture where all the Michigan staff, naturally, are all going over there and checking on them. But all the people running the pro day, of the NFL, they're just moving on to the next drill.
Yeah, because in their eyes, they're like, okay, well, don't have to waste a pick on him anymore.
Yeah, which sucks because this dude was potentially going to go top 10. I mean, I think this is going to kick him back. I still think he's a high talent. I think he'll go second round.
I think I'm not totally sure, and I don't feel like pulling it up right here, but I think I had him like my second or third linebacker off the board. Like, it was like top 8.
Like the highest that I've seen him go projected is like somewhere in the top 10, and then I've also seen him commonly in like the 10 to 20 range. And let me stress this: I still think it's actually possible he could go in the first round because the talent's there. I mean, at the latest, he's going his second round.
I think it's kind of a thing like you see with Jalen Smith, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he had that knee injury, in the bowl game, I believe.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, and still went. I think he went the second round first pick, and I still think I don't think he's on a team right now.
No, he's not.
He's a great.
But hey, he had a good run with Dallas.
Yeah, I don't know, and it was still. I think honestly, it has to come down to like locker room or something like that, because he was just released out of nowhere and then signed by Green Bay, and then he was there for a couple
3
of games,
weeks,
and then released again. I think it's definitely like a more of a personal issue when it comes to Jalen. But as far as Ajobu, very well look to that to where like towards the end of the first round into the second round, somebody can get a steal.
Yeah, and because I've seen some people, like some sources talking where doctors expect him to have like that 6-month turnaround, like what Cam Akers did. Because no one expected Cam Akers to be back for the playoffs, but here he was. He managed to come back for the Rams, but yeah, and they're kind of just thinking the same thing for David. As someone who has torn their Achilles tendon completely in half, I know the pain that he's going through, because like the thing is also with that, like, dude, that shit just happens. Like, it literally just happens.
There's literally nothing you can do to prevent it.
Yeah, because like I saw a lot of people, and when I say a lot of people, a majority of it being just like fans saying they need to eliminate the combine, they need to eliminate pro days and stuff. And I disagree with that take completely, because you got to keep in mind there are so many guys that are going to be fighting for that chance to get drafted. Guys like him, I could see the argument of maybe he doesn't need to do the pro day or top 10. His talent's on the tape. It's kind of like Malik. Malik didn't run a 40, but Malik flat out said, quote, "I know how fast I am." Like, so Malik didn't actually run a 40, but he rose his stock by showing what he needed to show, that he can be a quarterback, not a running back. You know what I mean? The tail's on the tape, but all the people that's saying eliminate pro days, eliminate combines, like that's a no-go for me, because there's so many players that need that helps raise their stock. I mean, let's just use Malik as an example. He didn't run his 40, but like, we're talking potentially Malik going like number 2 overall. Apparently, according to Vegas, would we have been having that conversation before combine or pro day?
100% no.
We would have the conversation the first round, yeah. But would we have the conversation maybe top 10 right now? I don't think so.
I think I had him before the combine, and I was a little bit higher on him than y'all were.
Yeah, you were. You were the only one that were. Yeah. We had him like our 3rd or 4th.
Yeah, I had him. I think my 2nd or 3rd quarterback off the board, and I had him in the 19 to 25 range. I think. But I mean, I would have not. Actually, I think I actually had him going 32. I don't know.
I think you did actually.
I think I had him going 32. But I mean, even then, like, man, like, no, I would have not guessed what I saw in combine he could have done.
Right.
I mean, I was high on him, but even then I was like, dude, like, that's a damn good quarterback.
Right.
So, no.
That does need to get eliminated, because I mean it helps raise stock for first rounders and late rounders, because the late rounders is where that's really important, because that's where you see a lot of different names kind of pop up. I don't remember his name. I feel bad about it, but the one punter who ran like a 4.6. Did you see that at the combine? Yeah, his stock is rising because of that. That's a fast ass punter.
Yeah,
like
100%.
Shit.
But yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, but will I hate on players that are top 20 projected and they don't do a combine but they do a pro day? No, I completely. If I was a top 20 pick, if I was hearing things from
if you knew you were like a top 5 pick, yeah,
and I mean, even me personally, top 20, because I mean, there's a lot of money in the top 20. But I mean, especially if I was top 10, top 5, I'd be like, nah. I'll do little things here at the combine, but why take that spot from somebody else that would really need it when I can go and show my stuff in my pro day and be in my own environment, and around people that I know that care.
One of my favorite draft stories was Deion Sanders. Have you heard this one about the Giants? Whenever Deion Sanders was gearing up for the draft and everything, that's like what? Is that the 89 draft, I think? Because that's the one with Troy Aikman, Emmett. No, not Emmett, sorry. That was the one with Troy, Tony Mandrick, the bust, at number 2. Had Deion, Derek Thomas, and Barry Sanders. That's what it was. That was the top 5. So 4 Hall of Famers and then the bust of Tony Mandra. I think that's funny. But anyway, Deion had like some sit down with the Giants, whatever, and they were going to have Deion take some test. Like some long stupid test, and Deion's just like, hold up, what pick are y'all? And it's like, oh, we're the 10th pick, and Deion flat out left. He's just like, I'm gonna be gone before that. He just leaves. That's prime time for you though. Yeah. That's prime. That's
only he could pull that off.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Someone does that today.
Oh, they're getting lit up. Social media will have his ass.
I know, bro.
It would be ridiculous. Yeah, that he'd be canceled.
Yeah,
by what the kids say today.
Also, one thing to quickly shout out here as well. Cincy finally made an upgrade to the O-line. I think they signed it, Lau Collins. That's a good move.
Love that pick.
Yeah, because they already had Jonah Williams, and now they've got Lau Collins as well, who has been naturally a right tackle anyway. So Jonah can stay at left, Collins can stay at right. So that's a good move for because that's the Bengals' primary focus, man. I would say even in the first round, you need to try to draft a lineman because this is a good lineman draft, interior or the tackles. I feel like it's a good lineman. You got to improve that
other
line.
Than quarterback and running back. Like, this draft is super deep at every position except for quarterback, running back.
Yeah, I agree. Wide receivers are super dope. Linemen is fantastic. Every defensive position, I think, is great. Linebackers, D-line, DBs, all of them fantastic. It's literally just running backs and quarterbacks. Because, like, your top running back potentially is either Kenneth Walker or Breece Hall. Breece Hall's stock is rising.
Which I actually have Breece Hall, my number 1 running back, on the board.
I like Breece a lot, yeah.
His combine helped him, in my opinion. Helped him a lot, so...
So with all these free agency moves that we've had, and we've had a lot of big things, Von Miller, which I'll shout to him being the first defense player to sign 2 $100 million contracts. That's absolutely insane. Plus he's got like the most fully guaranteed money across his career, but that's a non-quarterback, so that's absolutely insane as well. But Von Miller to the Buffalo, big help there. Khalil Mack getting traded to the Chargers, Devontae Adams getting traded to the Raiders, Russell Wilson to the Broncos, Matt Ryan to the Colts. Deshawn Watson to the Browns, Bobby Wagner signing with the Rams, Tyreek to the Dolphins,
Amari Cooper to the Browns.
Thank you. I mean, what is your number 1 favorite move? And take fanhood out of this since you are a Broncos fan here, Bronco and Seattle fan. You won no matter what, I guess.
Yeah.
What is your favorite move that you think really puts this particular team really to the next level?
Honestly, it's what the Chargers have done.
With Mac?
With bringing in Mac, and then the other pieces that they've signed, I think it's between them and Miami have impressed me the most with what they've done. I really like the trade for Khalil Mack as well on both sides because I think it helps Khalil Mack. It helps the Chargers because now you don't have one person focusing on Joey Bosa, right? And as far as Khalil Mack, you don't have one person only focusing on him. Mm-hmm. At times in Chicago, you would have that instance to where you would only be focusing on Khalil Mack, and then when his kind of production was downgrading, and then they would only focus on somebody else, and that really hurts your defense, right? But then as far as Chicago goes, I think it helps them. Now, I would have
helps our money. That's the main thing.
What I would have liked them to do is get that 2nd round pick and then make a 6th round pick a conditional pick, right? If he performed a certain point, then it could
goes up to a 5th or 4th.
Exactly. Yep. I would have liked to seen that. I think that would have been very helpful. Because what if he comes out, and tears an ACL, God forbid, or anything like that? That sucks.
Yeah.
But in that perspective, as far as a business goes, you could get, instead of a 6th, you can go down to a 7th, or if he becomes a Pro Bowler, you can get maybe a 3rd or a 4th.
Right.
But other than that, I would have to say probably Miami 1, Chargers 2, to take my fanhood out of it. Now, don't get me wrong, the Russell Wilson trade for Denver and Seattle, I think it helps Denver a lot because I think they're kind of like the Colts. They're a quarterback and a little bit, like a couple pieces here and there away from contending. Especially with Jerry Jeudy being there. Ken Hamler has been great. Cortland Sutton, of course. They've got Javonte Williams at running back. And then on the Seattle end, you've got pieces to build around, right? You've got 2 firsts, 2 seconds, a 5th, and a 6th. And along with that, you've got tight end Noah Fant, who's been great. Inconsistent here and there, but for overall, a great tight end. Drew Lock, who's promising here and there, but again, it is what it is. And then Shelby Harris, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was part of the trade.
So
good D lineman.
Yeah. And what I would like to do, what could be very well seen, is trading Seattle trading a second-round pick and a fifth-round pick, and maybe more to move up. Because I forgot what spot. Do you know what spot they're at right now?
Seattle?
Yeah.
9.
Yeah, you could very well see them move up into the top 5 with trading, their next round stuff that they got from Denver. So that first, that second, and that sixth, and maybe even that fifth from this year could be in a package trying to move up. So who knows?
I would say for me personally, my favorite moves that have been made, honestly, I'm going to have to ride with you on Miami. I really like what Miami's doing. If before the Tyreek Hill trade, I would not have put Miami at 1. They would have been my top 5. But the Tyreek Hill trade, that's what tipped it over for me.
I think overall, before I heard of the news this morning, I think what I had Miami at 3, just because of the group effort they put in with getting linemen, getting pieces that they needed to fit with Tagovailoa, Tua. But adding Tyreek Hill just puts it over the top because you've got a superstar.
Yeah.
You've got somebody that can take a top off the defense very easily and free up a Jalen Waddle, which we saw. I mean, he broke a rookie record last year for catches.
Yep.
I mean,
broke Anquan Bolton's record.
Literally insane. And then you franchise tag Gesicki, which is a great tight end, probably in top 5 in the NFL in my opinion. And they're a couple pieces away, especially on the defensive side, from being right in that conversation, right in that mix. And in an AFC that got significantly tougher this year.
Yeah.
And that's saying something. So
I also think out of like all the big moves that's been made, which there's been a lot, obviously. I feel like the number one move to me that really tips the tides for a team, in my opinion, is actually Russ. Because you look at that Denver team, like their running back situation, not too bad. You still have Melvin Gordon. You have who was a rookie last year, Javonte Williams, can get some improvement there. O-line isn't too bad. You got a couple of young receivers, Cortland Sutton, who's already been I think he's a one-time Pro Bowler right now, playing pretty well. Jerry Jeudy still has some stuff to prove. Could use a new tight end now since you trade but that's fine. But you have a killer defense with Patrick Surtain in the back, Bradley Chubb, now Randy Gregory. I feel like adding Russ really tips the tide for that Broncos team. Plus, I think very highly of Nathaniel Hackett as head coach.
I do too.
But I also think, depending on his situation, I really think Deshaun takes the Browns to literally the next level. But because the Browns' big thing right now is who's he throwing to. He has still got Austin Hooper at tight end, David Njoku from Miami at tight end, but like Jarvis is out. Obviously Odell got traded last year. Like, who's his receivers? But you got Nick Chubb and Kareem in the backfield. You got some pretty good pieces on the defense with Denzel Ward, Myles Garrett, etc. Pretty good O-line as well. But the thing about Deshaun, while his court stuff is fine, dude could get fined. Dude could get suspended. That's still a legitimate possibility. He could only play 6 games and he could get suspended the rest of the year. That is still a possibility.
Yeah, the thing with me, I'm a little less worried about, because I think Cleveland very well will go either. I think there are 3 main priorities right now: is receiver, offensive line, defense.
Yeah.
Particularly to help out Myles Garrett. And maybe to solidify that DB core a little bit. But honestly, don't be surprised if they take a receiver in the first round. I think they're really high right now on like a Drake London, somebody like that. But what I'm more worried about, why I didn't put that Deshaun Watson move up higher, is because at the end of the day, I know he's been training and stuff like that, I'm sure. But at the end of the day, you have a year and a half off, if not longer, from actual NFL play. And just to jump from college to pro, the speed of the game is different. And then taking, only being in the league, he was in the league, 4 years?
Yeah, I think 4.
Before this happened. So, and then having to take a year and a half off, if not longer, due to this. And, and the last time he played, the NFL was different, right? There was, 4 preseason games and all this different kinds of stuff. I'm I'm hoping, that the pace of the game is not too fast for him when he gets back in there. I'm sure it won't be, but it's also a question like, hey, he has a year and a half off.
Yep.
Like, rules have changed, things have changed. Like, game's different. Mm-hmm. So, who knows?
I still think Matt Ryan is a big difference maker.
Yeah, I agree. I think, that's the thing. We could very well be like, hey, Matt Ryan, Russell Wilson, top 2 moves of the offseason.
Yeah.
Because those 2 moves put those teams over the top and into contention, right?
Like we said earlier, the 8 teams, like the big 8 right now, the elite 8. There you go, elite 8.
Before them, it was the Sweet 6.
Yeah,
But adding Russell Wilson, adding Matt Ryan to those teams, the Colts and Broncos, that puts them in contention and maybe even higher up than some of the other teams that were already ahead of them. Mm-hmm. Like I said, Colts and Broncos very well could be Super Bowl favorites coming out of the AFC because of these 2 moves. And even better if, the Colts add a Julio. I
really want to see that happen now.
Like that.
I really want to see Julio go to Indy.
It's pretty great, and it's easy to say that, right?
Yeah,
so, but as a football fan, I like what Miami's doing.
I love what Tyler.
What the Chargers are doing.
Yeah, I love what Tyler said earlier, where Tyler's just like, it's like this offseason's being run by someone who plays Madden. I'm just like, bro, true.
I've seen that, yeah.
True. Well, we pretty much ran through everything throughout the script. Do you got anything else that on your mind that you want to shout out, throw out there?
No, I'm excited for the draft. I'm excited to see what the rest of the free agency said. Like, there's still a couple key players that I'm still looking out for. As far as, you still waiting to see if people are going to trade Christian McCaffrey, see if they're going to trade Saquon before the draft, seeing where Julio lands, where Odell lands, where Jarvis lands, because those 3 pieces, and plus if Saquon or Christian McCaffrey get moved, it very well could shake up from what we know right now. So
yeah, let me do a Twitter check real quick, see if anything popped off, and we missed it in this past hour because at this point you just don't know.
Yeah, you really don't. I mean, I have notifications set for every major ESPN analysis, and I don't have anything in the last hour.
Looks like nothing. Still like the latest, I guess, big news is really the Bobby Wagner stuff, potentially going to the Rams. So, all right, we're in the clear. We didn't miss anything. Also, non-football related shout out to both of our teams making it to the Sweet 16. Are you nervous for that game? That's a big one, bro, for you guys.
It is.
That's a big one.
But, I was talking to my brother about this. After we beat no, it was before we played Vermont. I was paying attention to it, and I was talking to my brother, and I was like, it very well could end up that we play Gonzaga. And me and him was like kind of weary about it, but I stated this. If we play like we played against that 3-game stretch where we beat Kentucky, Tennessee, and Auburn, me personally, maybe some bias into it, I think we're the best team in the country. If we play like we did in that 3-game stretch. And I don't think a team like Gonzaga could beat us if we play like that.
Yeah.
But then again, if we play like we did, in the SEC tournament or against, last game against, I even forgot. I've been so out of the loop. Whoever we play in the round of 32, if we play against them, we're going to get mollywopped. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of been Arkansas's kind of MO in basketball, right? It's like, hey, at one point we look damn good, potential, top team in the tournament, but then again we can look like that we don't even deserve a spot. So.
Right. Yeah, my bracket got busted immediately because of Kentucky and Iowa. Thanks, guys. But one thing I did have correct on my bracket is I did have Miami making it to the Sweet 16. I think we'll beat Iowa State. And then I forgot who the 2 teams were that we had projected to play. I know one of them was Providence. I can't remember. Do you know who Providence is playing by chance?
Utah. I think it's Utah.
Okay. If it's Providence and Utah, if we beat Iowa State and we go into them, I think it's going to be Providence moving on. I don't think we're going to beat Providence, but I think Miami will at least go on to the Elite Eight.
I had Miami making it to the Sweet 16, but I have y'all losing to Iowa State.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it goes.
I'm a big fan of Iowa State basketball just because of Javad, and I've kind of paid attention to him because of him. Mm-hmm. So, but I did pick Iowa to lose.
Round one?
Round one.
Wow,
yeah,
okay.
I actually had them losing to, I think it was Richmond, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Richmond. I like them. They're kind of like my Cinderella team that I like watching. I mean, of course, like
shout out to the Peacocks.
Yeah, of course, like Davidson and stuff like that. But yeah, the Richmond, like the Spiders or whatever they are.
Richmond Spiders.
And because from what I can remember, they always pull an upset, at least one every year.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm excited. Hopefully, we can make it. You know, if we beat Gonzaga and lose in the Elite Eight, I'll be happy.
Right. Call it a dub.
But then again, like if we beat Gonzaga, I don't even know who would play in the Elite Eight. Duke. So we play Duke. And if we beat Duke and make it to the Final Four, I'd be really, really happy. I'm like, I don't even care. I've won the national championship.
Bro, this state would be popping off. It would be insufferable for me.
Yeah. So, yeah, got a lot of stuff going on.
All right, well, I'm going to hit the music. We're going to get out of here. So, Shane, last thoughts.
Like I just said, a lot of stuff going on.
Yep.
Look forward to it all. Keep an eye on the websites, Twitters. We'll be trying to be getting news out to y'all as quickly as we see it.
Yep.
On both platforms, Twitter, website. Hopefully mock drafts will be out before next episode.
Yeah, I'm going to try to get mine out this weekend. Busy weekend, moving the studio. That should be what's going down this weekend. So I'm hopefully going to get mine out sometime.
Mine, I'll try and do it, but it just gets, I'll get almost through it, and then like a top end team will make a big trade. I'm like,
see, the plus side is I feel like a lot of the big moves that's happened, I feel like, now we're at a point where if anything else happens, it won't necessarily horribly affect the pick. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because like if Odell or Jarvis, if they sign somewhere, I don't think that, like, let's say they sign to a team that needs like that really needs a receiver, I don't think that would be sway me away from maybe still saying they'd go a receiver. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like the big difference makers are now gone. So I feel a little bit more confident about making a mock draft.
Yeah, I agree. But hey, but the thing is, like, if just say Atlanta signs Jarvis Landry to a big contract, it's like, okay, maybe they won't, but who knows?
Right. All right, well, if you made it all the way in, you're an absolute legend. We appreciate you for that. Make sure to definitely stay tuned for next week. Go follow us on the show. Sign up to the website, of course. It is for free. If you haven't signed up, I don't know what you're doing. You definitely need to sign up. Sign up to the premium tier, get access to special perks like early access to podcast episodes. I think that's it. So with that said, thank you so much for listening to
A Terrible Football Show. See you next time.